Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Clarity Standard: Why Communicators Lead and Educators Inform. Here we go. There's a difference between knowing something and being able to communicate it. Most leaders assume that once they have the knowledge, the communication part takes care of itself. It doesn't. And the gap between those two things, between knowing and communicating, is where leadership either gains traction or quietly loses it. John Maxwell put it plainly. He said, "Educators take something simple and make it complicated. Communicators take something complicated and make it simple." Let's read that again slowly. Educators take something simple and make it complicated. Communicators take something complicated and make it simple. It's not a compliment to educators and a critique of communicators. It's a challenge to all of us who lead. Every leader is, at their core, a communicator. Your role is not to demonstrate what you know. Your role is to move people. Move them toward a decision, toward a behavior, toward a result. And movement requires clarity. It requires that the person on the other side of your words actually understands what you're asking of them and why it matters. The higher you climb in an organization, the more complex your world becomes. More variables, more stakeholders, more noise. And the temptation, the natural gravitational pull, is to let that complexity show up in your communication, to signal mastery through vocabulary, to signal thoroughness through volume. But here's the truth most leaders learn too late. Complexity in your communication is not a sign of depth. It is a sign that you've not finished thinking. Here's where leaders get this wrong. They hear, simplify your message, and they think the advice is about shortening things. So they shorten their emails. They cut slides. They bullet point everything. And then they wonder why people still aren't aligned. Simplicity is not a formatting choice. It's a thinking discipline. A message can be 3 words long and still be completely opaque. And a message can be 3 paragraphs and still land with total precision. The difference isn't length. The difference is whether or not you did the translation work before you opened your mouth or hit send. Maxwell's quote draws a sharp line, and it's worth sitting with. Educators in his framing are building toward their own comprehension. They're processing out loud, working through complexity in real time. That serves the educator. Communicators work differently. They do all of that privately. They wrestle with the complexity, they sit with the nuance, they stress test the message, and then they walk into the room with something that's ready for the audience. Not ready for them, ready for the room. That distinction changes the entire posture of leadership communication. It means preparation is not optional. It means that the clarity you deliver is the product of the confusion you worked through before the conversation started. Think about one conversation you have coming up this week. It might be a team meeting, a board update, a performance conversation, maybe even a client call. Ask yourself, have I done the translation work? Do I know what I'm actually trying to move in this person? Do I know what the one thing is I need them to walk away understanding? If you can't answer that in a single clear sentence, you're not ready. And the people in that room will feel it, even if they can't name it. The standard that Maxwell is setting is high, but it's the right standard. Leaders who communicate with clarity don't just transfer information. They build trust. They reduce friction. And they create alignment that outlasts the conversation. Simplicity is a form of respect. When you do the hard work of making something clear, you're telling the other person that their time matters, their understanding matters, that you value the outcome of this exchange enough to earn it before you show up. The most credible leaders are not the ones with the most to say. They're the ones who leave you thinking you always knew exactly what they meant. That is not an accident. That's discipline. And it is one of the most important skills that you can build.